From Washington, let's bring in General Jack Keane, former Vice Chair of Staff of the US Army and Chair of the Institute for Study of War. Hello to you. Thank you so much for joining us on Sky News this afternoon. Picking a fight with a war widow is never clever, is it?
Can you say that again, please? Yes,
picking a fight with a war widow is not a clever thing to do as president.
Well, I just think this whole situation is pretty unfortunate. I do think General Kelly tried to bring some clarity to it, to at least educate the American people in it, kind of like a civics lesson, very eloquent, heartfelt, trying to explain what this process really is all about and how personal it is for the family. And you know, how presidents express their compassion in the sense of loss and pain that they have when somebody under their command is killed. I think that's essentially their province, and people do it in different ways, and it's imperfect at best. It's a very difficult situation for all concerned.
Using the phraseology, though, Sarah, about he knew what he signed up for when you're dealing with a grieving pregnant widow is really not the best choice of words, is it?
No, I totally disagree with that. As a matter of fact, I've had my arms around countless numbers of wives, husbands to a lesser degree, fathers and mothers and children for close to 40 years of soldiers underneath my command that have perished. And the one theme that they play back to me when I'm with them and trying to console them, I'm actually often crying right along with them, is that, you know, General, the one thing I can console myself with is that my son, my husband, was doing exactly what he wanted to be doing, and he was doing it with the people he wanted to be with. That is the one constant theme that I've had close to 40 years. And that is why General Kelly, when President Trump asked him, what should I say, General Kelly gave him that to say, because it was the consolation that was provided to him by the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, his best friend Joe Dunford, when his own son was killed. So I totally disagree with that characterization.
So you agree with the president. What about forgetting the dead soldier's name?
I have no idea what took place in that conversation, and I will take her at face value. I'm certainly not going to challenge anything that a soldier's wife has to say under these circumstances and the grief that she is dealing with. I respect who she is, and I suffer for her loss.
Why didn't the president say that, I wonder?
Oh, come on. Can we stop this conversation and get on with something else,
sir,
please?
We can't. No, we want to know exactly what you think about this, sir. Why would the president not have said...
I'm done with the conversation. Why would the president
not have said
I'm done with the conversation. Make up your mind.
So you're going to walk out if we continue to talk about this conversation? Is that what you're saying?
I think I've answered your question.
No, you haven't. I'm asking you a follow-up question. I'm asking you, you said you would never say that, you would never challenge a war widow. I'm saying to you that your president did. Is that acceptable?
I've given you my answer.
No, you didn't. That's why I'm asking you the question, sir.
I'm giving you my answer.
What is your answer?
I just gave it to you before.
Remind me, please. Remind me, please, if you would, sir. Do you appreciate how offensive this must be to war widows, not just of the one that we have been talking about, but more generally, when someone in your position feels that it's inappropriate to answer these sort of questions?
I've given you an explanation of my feelings on this subject. And I've also told you, I think this subject is one that the more we spend time on it, the more difficult it is for all the parties concerned. That was one of the things I thought General Kelly did so eloquently in providing us with the missive. Is there anything that is left sacred in this country that we have to be involved in the middle of a situation like this with a grieving family? That is what I resent. I've answered your questions, and I'm not answering any more on this subject. Okay.